You don't have to spend a small fortune to get a decent TV. Today, even cheap TVs can deliver a decent viewing experience for most uses, and many of them have great smart features, eliminating the need to spend more on an external streaming device. As TCL's more affordable 4K TV line, the 4 series is a bit chunkier than the 6 series. The TV's flat, glossy black plastic bezels are much wider than its pricier sibling's more stylish, gunmetal frame, measuring 0.5 inches on the sides, 0.4 inches on the top, and 0.8 inches on the bottom. It isn't much thicker than the 6 series, however, measuring just over 3 inches at the bottom half, where it bulges significantly from the curved, 2-inch depth of the top half. A small strip of textured black plastic on the bottom bezel provides some of the only visual flair, with silver TCL and Roku TV logos under it in the center and right corner. With the exception of the power cable connector on the right side, all ports sit on the left side of the back of the TV. They include 3 HDMI ports, 1 USB port, an Ethernet port, an antenna/cable connection, optical and 3.5mm audio outputs, and a 3.5mm composite video input for use with the included 3.5mm to composite RCA dongle. A small reset button sits above all the ports. The only other control on the TV is a single multifunction power button, located behind the infrared receiver under the middle of the bottom bezel. The screen is framed by a plain, flat, glossy black plastic bezel that measures half an inch on the sides and top and an inch on the bottom. An RCA logo sits in the middle of the bottom bezel, and an infrared sensor rests on the lower right corner, under a Roku TV logo. The TV sits on 2 C-shaped glossy black plastic legs. 2 USB ports and a reset button sit on the left side of the back of the TV. 3 HDMI ports, a composite video input, an optical audio output, a 3.5mm headphone jack/aux output, an Ethernet port, and an antenna/cable connector face downward. A small cluster of buttons on the lower right corner of the back provide basic controls, but as with all TVs they're mostly intended as a backup control method, and the remote is almost always the better option. The remote is a standard infrared, non-enhanced Roku TV remote. It's a small, thin black wand with a prominent purple direction pad flanked by menu and playback buttons. Dedicated service buttons for Fandango Now, Hulu, Netflix, and Pandora sit below the playback buttons. Since it's IR only, the remote requires line of sight with the infrared receiver on the TV, and doesn't have a Bluetooth connection to enable voice search or private listening features. You can use those features with the Roku app for Android and iOS, which also provides basic TV controls and media streaming from your smartphone. The Samsung TU8000 is a decent TV, but it lacks some key features you might find in higher-end TVs. It has exceptional dark room performance thanks to its excellent contrast ratio and incredible black uniformity, but it lacks a local dimming feature to further darken any blacks. It has decent reflection handling and decent peak brightness, but it struggles in rooms with direct light. It doesn't support a wide color gamut for HDR content, and the viewing angles are disappointing, so you lose image accuracy when viewed from the side. Most gamers will appreciate the incredibly low input lag and black frame insertion feature to help reduce motion blur, but unfortunately it doesn't support any variable refresh rate technology. The TU8000 has an excellent design. It's the same as Samsung's entry-level TV in the QLED lineup, the Samsung Q60T QLED, except its borders are a slightly darker shade of gray. Overall, it has a simple and modern design with thin bezels. The feet are inserted into the TV itself, so you don't need to screw them on, and there are clips on the back of the feet for cable management. The R8F is physically identical to the H8F, with a striking, almost bezel-free design with an edge-to-edge glass panel framed by a tiny 0.2-inch black border on the top and sides, and a 0.7-inch gunmetal bezel running along the bottom edge. The bottom bezel features a Hisense logo in the middle, a Roku TV logo on the right, and a small protrusion under the left corner for the infrared remote sensor. It's a very premium look, comparable with high-end LG and Samsung TVs. The screen sits on 2 V-shaped gunmetal legs that can be attached near the center or near the sides of the bottom, providing flexibility if you have a table or shelf that's slightly narrower than the screen. Besides the power connector on the right side, all inputs sit on the left side of the back of the TV. 3 HDMI ports, a USB port, an optical audio output, an antenna/cable connector, and a pinhole reset button face directly left, while a fourth HDMI port, an Ethernet port, an RCA composite video input, and a 3.5mm audio output face directly back. Instead of the button-laden wand of the Android TV version, the R8 comes a standard Roku TV voice remote. It's a small, black plastic bar with Roku's signature plus shaped direction pad near the top. The Sony X750H is a budget 4K TV that performs reasonably well for most uses. It's a significant shift from its predecessor, the Sony X750F, as it has a VA panel this time around to provide a significantly better dark room viewing experience. Response time is decent and it has low input lag, however, it doesn't support variable refresh rate to reduce screen tearing when gaming. Unfortunately, its narrow viewing angles make it less ideal for wide seating arrangements, and there are some screen uniformity issues that can be rather distracting. It gets reasonably bright to fight glare in well-lit environments, but not bright enough to make highlights pop in HDR content. On the upside, its Android TV platform has plenty of apps available, which is great for those who get their content through streaming services. The Sony X750H has an excellent design. It looks clean and simple from the front, but the bezels aren't as thin as the higher-end models such as the Sony X950H, and they protrude a bit more from the screen. The stand is also simple and doesn't stand out in any way.